Hi everybody and welcome to this week's video, which is all about creating a dynamic name. I will explain to you how you can create a name which automatically adjusts its range when adding new records using the offset function. So please enjoy the video. So in this video we are going to make dynamic names. And before we start, I want to explain something to you about the offset and the count a function, because these two functions we are going to use to make our name dynamic. The offset function is the most difficult one. It has 5 arguments and you will not use it a lot in your Excel sheet, I think. But for a dynamic name, it's ideal. It has for the first argument a starting cell. So let's say this would be our starting cell. Then the next 2 arguments are the number of rows down and the number of columns to right. So I can go, for example, 2 rows to the bottom and going 3 columns to the right. And the last 2 arguments are the height and the width. So when I say my height is 4 and my width is 2, then this range will be determined by my offset function. Later on we will use it in our name, so then it will be much more clear. The count a function has only one argument, much simpler, and it just counts the number of filled cells in a range. So when I select this range in a count a function, the result will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 filled cells. So these two functions we are going to use to make our name dynamic. First of all, we want a name which contains all these products and it has to be dynamic. So I'm going to select the first cell here. I click my formulas tab and I'm going to define name. So I can define a name here, and the name of the name will not be apples, but it will be products. Now, here is what the name refers to. And here we need a function to determine which cells are in this name. So, and like I said, we start with the offset function. So we type equal sign, offset, and we open the function. So now, like I said, we are going to determine the starting cell. We're going to use this one, C11, as a starting cell. Now we're going to determine the number of rows down and the number of columns to the right. Well, this is our starting cell and it stays our starting cell. So we are not going to adjust that, and we are going to type 0 and 0 for that. So we are still in this cell, C11. Now it becomes interesting because we need to determine the height of our name. And the height is the dynamic part of your name, because when you add a new value, it becomes the 6th product, and my name has to expand to 6, and that we are going to do with the count a function. So just type count a, open your function, and I'm gonna select the whole column C. So close your count a function, go to the last argument, which is the width, and the width is only one column because my products are all in this one column C. So this is 1, and we close our function. Well, now we can check what the function does. We press enter, we made our name, we can check it on the formulas tab and the name manager, and you'll see my name is here, products, and here is my function to determine which cells are in it. We can click the function and we see highlighted the cells which are in the name. And we will see this is not good. While there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cells in the name which does not contain products. How does that come? Well, we said we want to count all the filled cells in column C, and that determines the height of my name. So, but in column C, there is also my header for my table, and there are 1, 2, 3 cells filled with explanations here. So a total of 4 cells are filled, which are not which not have to become cells in our name. So we need to correct that. And for that, we are going to our formula, and after the count a function, we're going to type -4. So the height of our name is 4 cells less than all the filled cells in column C. So now we can press enter and again click in our function, and we see the cells highlighted that are in our name. And now it's right, it's these 5 cells which contains products are in our name products. So what we can do now is close this window and going to this cell, and we can get a list, a drop down of all the products here. And for that you select the cell, go to the data tab, click data validation, and under settings you select a list, and the source is =, and then our name products. So just click OK, and you will see the 5 products. Well, when I just add a product like melons, I press enter, and now I can see what the dynamic part of the name is. When I select this cell and I go to my drop down, my melons are in my list. So I don't need to adjust my name. Every product I add to my table is directly going to my name. And that is done by this part of my function. Well, it counts the number of filled cells -4 because of these 4 cells, and that determines the height. So every cell I add is another filled cell in column C, and my height of my name is expanded. So now we know that. We can also make a name for the turnover in the same way. So just select this cell, click define name, and my name is already turnover, so that's good. And now I'm going to make the function again. So again I say is offset, and I open my function. This will be my starting cell. I'm not gonna go cells to the right or down, so twice 0. The 4th argument is the height, and that needs to be dynamic. So I say again count A, open the function. The column F is the column with the turnover, so I'm gonna select that. And now I also need to correct this one. First I'm going to close my count A function, and here is only the header in column F. These cells are all empty, so I need to correct it with -1. The last argument is again the width, and the width is also 1 in this case. It's only 1 column with turnovers. I can end the function offset, press enter, go to my name manager again, select the turnover, click my function, and I will see the turnover is here. What I can do now is use this name in a function. Well, here we have total turnover. I can say is sum, and I just use my name turnover. Excel already suggests this name. I can just press tab when it's selected here, and I can close my sum function. Press enter, and here is my total turnover. Well, I just added melons here, and I can add a price for the melons like $1.49, add 11.50 for sales, and my turnover comes here, and you see the total turnover is directly adjusted because it's using this dynamic name. This turnover is directly added to the name, and I'm calculating the sum of the name. So I don't need to adjust my name, I don't need to adjust my formula to calculate the total turnover. It's directly added, so it's a great function. Now we can also make a dynamic name of the whole table, and that I will show you. I can select this cell apples, I can click define name. This time I'm going to name it database. And again, I'm using a function to determine which cells are in my database. So I can begin the same, is offset, and I open my function. And now I'm selecting again a starting cell, for example this one. And like in the other examples, we are not going to the right or down, so twice 0. And now I need to determine the height of my database. And again, I can use the count A function, open the function, select column C, and like we did, I'm going to close the count A function. Like we did in the examples before, we need to correct this one. And this one again has 1, 2, 3, 4 extra filled cells in this column C. So I'm going to correct it with -4. Well, now comes the different part. I'm going to determine the width of my database. And in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So I just type 4 for the width, and I'm going to end my function. Let me say I'm not going to explain it in this video, but the width, the 4, is a static value, not a dynamic value. You can also make this one dynamic in the same way like we did the height. We just can use count A to count the filled cells in a row, and we're could use that to make the width of the table dynamic. So when you add another column to your table, it automatically in your name. But we're not going to do this in this example. So we can click OK. We can check the range of our name by clicking the name manager, the database, and then click in your function, and you see the highlighted cells are in my database. Well, what we can do now is close this one. We can use this name in a function to, for example, look up a price of a product. So I can select a product here, like lemons. I can type a VLOOKUP function. Oh, that's not right. VLOOKUP, open my function. Well, my lookup value is this product. And now we can use our name, which we created. The table array is database. Again, Excel suggests this name. I can press Tab, and my column index will be my price, and that's the 1, 2, my second column in my database. So I press 2, and I want an exact match. So the last argument is false. Close the VLOOKUP, press enter, and here is my price for my lemon. You will see the lemon price is 69 cents. I can adjust the product here by going to strawberries, and the price is $2.49. And the nice thing of this, I can type another fruit in this. I can set a price. I can set the total sales. I can easily copy the format from above, fill formatting only. Also here I can fill format only. And now another fruit is added. So I can select another fruit. It's automatically added to my list because of the dynamic name, and it also automatically calculates the price of another fruit because my database is also dynamic. So that saves you a lot of time by adjusting names when you add things to lists or databases. Make your name dynamic and your functions will work always. So thanks for watching my video about creating dynamic names. I hope you will succeed in making your first dynamic name on your own with this tutorial, and please don't forget to like my video, and if you did so, you can also consider subscribing to watch a lot more of my Excel videos.